Welcome to the Successful Nurse Coach podcast. On this podcast, Laura
and Shelby, both board-certified nurse coaches, show you how to make as much money as you want in private practice as a nurse coach.
All right, welcome to the Successful Nurse Coach podcast. If you're watching video, my dog Ginger has decided to join our podcast today. She will be in the background. I suggest going on over to YouTube if you're listening to this on audio only, because she's adorable and I'm not going to get up and make her go out of the room. Happy Monday. Today I'm going to do something different. It's just me. And I had on my list that I needed to record a podcast episode, and I usually prepare and create scripts and have some frameworks, but I'm going to just shoot from the hip today. So this is going to be Laura unfiltered raw, talking about, I guess, like what I would talk about if somebody just started interviewing me about being a business coach for the last 4 years, and what frustrates me with clients and what I wish I could do more for clients, and like my own conundrums around, are we doing the best that we can do and how can we do better, and always trying to learn and be up to date on what's happening in the coaching industry. I'm going to throw all that into an episode in hopes that some part helps you. Yeah, I was doing calls yesterday. I had 4 calls yesterday. Every once in a while, we offer like community calls. They're not application calls. So these weren't nurse coaches contacting us because they wanted to enroll, and we weren't enrolling them. I was serving. And I did 4 of these calls yesterday. And one of the biggest misnomers, and I remember this, is thinking as soon as I get my business set up, I just need to put myself out there. And so I want to talk about why putting ourselves out there, it's just not enough, right? Like just because we open our doors, just because we launch a website, just because we do one post on the internet and tell people that we are now accepting clients, we're open for business, that is not enough. People do not come and knocking down on your door. And this is where the freak out happens. This is where the thoughts are like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, how am I going to find clients? I don't know. Maybe I should start a podcast. I know I need to do some marketing. What are other coaches doing? And then from the outside, we kind of look at what they're doing and we think we have to do that with zero awareness, education, or skill set around what this stage actually looks like and what is the next best steps. So, the successful nurse coach method, the first part of it is connect. So we're going to talk a little bit about this in some different ways. And what I find is that a lot of you will do posts and you'll say something like, I'm offering some free coaching to the community. Comment below if you want to book a call, or maybe you'll even put your scheduling link there. And then you'll say, but no one's booking, Laura. It's not working. Nobody wants coaching. And I know we've said this in many different podcast episodes, but 98% of the people who pay you your first year are going to be because you asked them directly. So I'm going to make this distinction here about putting yourself out there, being a lighthouse, telling everybody, I'm open, I'm open, I'm open, hoping that people come towards you, when in reality, when you start a business, you're obscure. You have no brand awareness. Nobody knows that you're a coach. Nobody sees you as a coach. You're starting brand new. And while the doors are open, the lighthouse method doesn't work at this stage. This is where being a tugboat is your best bet. It's your only bet. It really, really is. You got to tugboat first. And what does tugboat include? Well, it means that you have to go out, ask people directly a yes/no question. Do you want to come have a coaching session with me? And bring them back in to experience your coaching. And in the course, we talk about this process being incredibly frustrating, and I'm going to tell you why. Well, a lot of you don't want to do that because you don't want to inbox people and be salesy, okay? And but you have to. You have to be a tugboat. You have to directly invite people into your coaching practice. I have 300 plus nurse coaches. I've never seen anybody become successful without mastering this. So this, for those of you listening who haven't done it yet, this is a non-negotiable skill that you will have to decide to get good at. You will not have to do it forever. You cannot skip it. There's nuances and ways to massage this and do this in different ways, but essentially, you're going to have to be directly asking people, do you want to come have a coaching session with me? And you're going to have to be open for them to say no or to ghost you. And in fact, that will happen more than the other. Like you're going to get way more no's and ghosts than you're going to get yes. So I'm going to, from our course, from our preceptorship course, I'm going to pull up some samples we have of voice memos that you can send to people that you know. This is best done with people who are warm or who've been interacting with some of your posts, or maybe old coworkers or people you went to school with. These are great for acquaintances. It's also okay for a stranger that isn't totally cold, like somebody that you have some connection to. This is not what you don't want to do this to 100 strangers every day and go to the weird inbox, right? Like I'm getting so many weird inboxed messages from cold people trying to sell me VA stuff or appointment setters. And I just block them immediately because they're doing it wrong. And it's kind of like this spray and pray method. It's like, well, if I just inbox 1,000 people a month, eventually someone will say yes. And that's totally true. But I know that you guys listening to that right now are thinking, I would rather shove a pencil in my eye than be the weird inbox person. And we don't want you to sell transformation in that way. We want you to sell it in a way that you find a rhythm where there's this dependable thing that you can do to create clients in your business that simultaneously makes the world a better place. It's this service-based approach. So I'm going to read you some of the sample voice memos that we have in the course. Because I find that a lot of you, I hear this all the time. I'll give an example of what you could say, and I go, oh, Laura, if I could just say that, like, I just can't find the words. Same. I couldn't find the words either. We don't have the words. We don't have the language. We haven't had enough examples. We don't know what this could look like to do it in a good way. So I'm going to give you guys some examples here. I'm going to use the word Susie or the name Susie. Hi, Susie. Thank you so much for your support on my post the other day. I have 2 pro bono sessions this month, and I wanted to offer one of them to you. Don't worry, I'm not going to sell you anything. This is just how I'm marketing my business in the community instead of paying for ads. And my only ask is that if it's awesome, which most of the time it is, that you write me a testimonial. Do you have time within the next week to connect if this is something you're interested in? Okay. And that would be a voice memo so that you can hear my voice. I'm speaking to you not professionally or polished. I'm speaking to you like I already know you. I'm inherently assuming rapport through, and I'm going first. And my tone makes you feel, oh, good, she's not going to try to pitch me something, or she's not going to be weird. Like I disarm you with my authenticity and being really upfront and transparent about why I'm in your inbox. I'm in your inbox because I'm building my business, but I build my business this way instead of this other way. And I thought of you. And I've asked directly, do you have time this next week to connect? So now it's not like, I didn't ask her, are you interested? I asked her, do you have time this next week to connect? And so then the answer for her is either going to be, I don't have time next week, or I am not interested, or she won't respond, or she'll say, yes, absolutely. How can I book? That's a direct invite. It is an action that requires you to be rejected. It's not, if you ever want if you ever want a coaching call, let me know. That's not a direct invite. And that's usually the tone and the way that we do it because we don't want to be rejected. Now, here's the thing. People will say, Laura, but you just said I'm not trying to sell you anything, but I am trying to sell coaching. So is this a bait and switch? No, it's not. It's not a bait and switch. And I'm going to tell you why. And this is your own internal work you have to do. Because the way that we build our businesses, this is what I did yesterday. I served 4 people yesterday. I sent them all emails this morning. I gave them some value and some free resources. They all need a coach, and I'm a coach. So there is a chance that they're going to hire me or my business or one of my coaches. But in the meantime, I'm serving them, and I'm trusting that if it's meant to be, they'll come back and ask more about some of our programs. But and some of them, I said, you'd be great for this thing. I'm going to give you a link so you can check it out. But I didn't ask them on this call, hey, do you want to enroll today? You have 24 hours to decide. That would have been a bait and switch. Okay. So it's like a slower process. We teach that you give everybody 2 hours of free coaching with a homework assignment in between. So before the question is ever asked, do you want to work with me and exchange money? We're giving 2 hours of our time, which, by the way, is worth about $500. So when we're asking you to connect and invite, what we're asking you to do is find people that you can give $500 worth of value to in your world. That's your job their first year. How can you give $500 worth of value or more to as many people as possible? That's the goal. Now, you've heard us say this 1,000 times, but at the end of powerful conversation number 2, there is a bridge to the possible proposal, and it is only done with permission because we've already told them, I'm not going to try to sell you anything. But we also don't want to leave them hanging, because oftentimes once you've had 2 hours of coaching, you can sense something shifting that you didn't even know you needed. And we also don't want to leave them hanging. So towards the end of that conversation, if you, the nurse coach, can't think you can help them and you want to help them, say something like, awesome, we're at the end of our second call. I have a question for you. Do you want to hear what it could look like to work professionally with me? Or I promised you I wouldn't sell you anything, or we can kind of come up with a plan for you to do this on your own and like get you into the right direction. Most of the time, they're going to say, I'd like to know what it would look like. And then you go into your proposal. So it is always with permission. We are willing to serve for 2 hours and let them go. But if they are interested in what it could look like, we are also ready to propose and to advocate for them to work with us if they want to. And this is the process we get excellent at. We get excellent at going out into the community, tugboating people in, giving them $500 worth of value, loving on them, believing in them, being a healing presence, raising the consciousness of the world, these calls at a time. And the after effect is, and with permission, if you want to know what it could look like, I'm willing to do that then, but then only. Millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars have been made this way in the nurse coaching industry. In fact, any nurse coach that you currently look up to that's making any kind of money has been coached by Shelby and I. I can say that with, I don't know, almost 99% certainty. And it's not because we're perfect. It's because we did the research and we created the right kind of a framework and system for most nurse coaches. And we have data. This works. This works if you work it. It does not work if you don't work it. It doesn't work if you don't work it. It's so strange. So I want you to pause here. And I want you to think about this idea of putting yourself out there and how it's not enough. It is like saying that you want to be a professional swimmer and putting on your swimsuit and sitting on the edge of the pool and wondering why you aren't doing well. You've got to commit jumping into the water, which is that connection, and beginning to swim, which is that invite. Because it's hours in the coaching seat with different humans that's going to accelerate your confidence, create all of your clarity, make your product undeniably valuable, and put the wind in your business sales. There's no other fuel for this. Now, this is where I'm going to poke fun and at the human experience and all the weird shit that we do when a coach tells you, hey, by the way, you're going to have to go get rejected regularly 66% of the time for the rest of your career. And you're going to have to find a way to regulate and get through all the emotions and past traumas and discomfort in your body. And by the way, there's no way around it. And it doesn't matter what program that you buy or what coaches are telling you or what business gurus are telling you. There's no way around it. You have to master this. You got to jump in the pool and take the first stroke. And you will learn to love this. I love it. Our clients who are successfully signing clients love it. Our team, everyone on our team, they love this. They can do this. They do this regularly. You can too. What I find is that you sit down to do connecting and invites and you feel cringy. We talked about this in a past episode. And then you don't do it. And what I'm asking you to do is hold your own feet to the fire. I'm going to give you some other scripts here. And try to find a way that feels good for you. This is not the time to start working on elaborate reels or to start a TikTok. Feel like you just need a TikTok or a YouTube. It's not enough. Like all of that's great, but it doesn't work if you can't tugboat because you don't have the skills to convert as a lighthouse yet. Right? So I'm going to give you another sample voice memo here. Hey, Susie, I've been thinking about you lately. How are you? I'd love to catch up soon. Do you have time within the next week to chat? This is great for people that you've had previous conversations with. This is not great for randos. This is how casual it can be. And then that would be more of a connection call where you could do an invite in person to them. And transparency works. You are building your business. Don't pretend like you're not. Yes, I am building my business. This is the way I'm doing it. I'm just serving people. And I'd love to serve you. And that way, 6 months from now, when you're talking to somebody and they're struggling with XYZ, you immediately think of Laura Menard and you send them my way. And I just decided to build my business this way instead of spending a bunch of money on ads or becoming a social media influencer. I just really want to help people. People get that. That makes sense to them. So don't be transparent. Don't hide. Don't pretend. Say what you're doing transparently. Hey, Susie, I saw your name pop up on my post about pro bono coaching. Can I send you my calendar and get you scheduled? I'd love to hear more about what we could work on together. Hey, Susie, thank you so much for supporting my posts and my message. I'd love to connect with you and offer you one of my coveted pro bono spaces this month. I build my entire practice through word of mouth and referral from these sessions, and I wanted to give one to you. Hey, Susie, I see you've been liking my posts. Is there anything right now that you're currently working on or a topic you'd like to see more information about? Instead of me just making up what I think people want to hear, I want to know what people want to hear. Hey, Susie, I do this thing once in a while and I reach out to people. I don't know on my friends list. Oops, hold on, let me go back. Hey, so-and-so, I do this thing once in a while and I reach out to people I don't really know on my friends list and offer them a coaching session with me. I kind of used my intuition and today I was led to you. To be clear, I don't accept payment for these sessions and I won't try to sell you anything. Every time I do this, I seem to create some magic and I'm here for all the magic I can find. Okay. Now I know a lot of you are sitting there going, yeah, Laura, that sounds great when you do it, but I can't. I can't do that. And that would be like me saying, yeah, badass nurse that gets IVs every time. I can see that you're good at IVs, but I can't do it because I've never done it. Right? This is a skill that you can cultivate. This is a skill that you must cultivate. This is a skill that you cannot help people in your coaching practice if you don't cultivate. And so the goal here is to accept this, hold your own feet to the fire, and start doing it.